Trading 212 is a commission-free investing platform that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, and index funds. In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through the Trading 212 app, and we will look at how to set up an account, the different account types available, how to buy and sell investments on the platform, and most importantly, how to navigate yourself around the app. Now, I've added timestamps below so you can skip around to the sections most relevant to you. Hi, my name is Nabil and welcome back to another video. Before we dive into the app, let's quickly cover some safety and regulation, because that's an important question for many people who are looking to use the platform, and that's, is my money safe on Trading 212? Trading 212 is authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. This means they are legally required to keep client money separate from the company's own money. So if anything ever happened to the company, your money is ring-fenced and not touched. And on top of that, your cash deposits are covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, up to £85,000 in the event of firm failure. Of course, this protection doesn't cover from investment losses. Your investments can go up or down, so always keep this in mind. Capital is at risk, only invest what you are prepared to lose, and if you're unsure, speak to a qualified financial advisor. Trading 212 doesn't charge commission on trades or any ongoing account fees, and the main cost to be aware of is the FX fee, which is a 0.15% conversion fee whenever you buy or sell investments that are in a different currency. If you are in the UK and stick to UK listed shares or funds in pounds, you avoid that completely. Alright, let's get started. First, download the Trading 212 app from the App Store or Google Play. Once you open it for the first time, you'll be asked to choose your country of residence. Now comes an important step, which is choosing which account type you want to open. Trading 212 offers 4 options, and which one you pick depends on the goal that you're trying to achieve. You have Invest, that's a general investment account. Capital gains and dividends are taxable. Below that, you have CFD. This is for trading with leverage, and this is high risk. And Trading 212 will even warn you that over 75% of people lose money with CFDs. And then you have the Stocks and Shares ISA. That works the same as Invest, but it's wrapped in a tax shelter. That means all your capital gains and dividends are tax-free. You can contribute up to the UK's £20,000 ISA allowance. For long-term UK investors, this is usually the best choice. And then you have Cash ISA, where you can hold cash and earn tax-free interest. And again, users are subject to the £20,000 ISA limit. Now, you need to do your own due diligence to understand what option is right for you personally. If you are the sort of investor that is looking for long-term investments in a tax-efficient way, the Stocks and Share ISA is usually the go-to option. If you open up a regular invest account, you won't receive the tax wrapper benefits that come with ISAs. But if you have any questions about that, drop a comment and I'll be glad to help. For simplicity in this video, I'll select the Stocks and Shares ISA. Once your selection has been picked, you will be taken to the login details page. Here you enter your email, password, and accept the privacy policy. And at the bottom it says FCA regulated, which adds to peace of mind. And then you click create account. And so you can enable push notifications and email notifications. Now you're on the app and see the main page, and you'll see the options and have to set up your account. It doesn't take too long, and it's part of the know your customer requirements that all brokers have to do, and all financial institutions need to do the same checks. So let's click the blue arrow to set up our account. The next bit is email verification. So they will send you an email to verify, and now your email is verified and you can click continue. Now, this is the personal details section. So you select your nationality and type in your full name and click next. And as soon as you do that, you'll see a scam disclaimer warning saying a Trading 212 employee will never call or text you. And it mentions that Trading 212 does all its communications via the email address on screen. And so once you've read that, click I understand. And now you type in your date of birth and your mobile phone number. And then you have to select your tax residence. And then it asks you for your national insurance number. And once you've done that, you have to search for your address. Next, there is a financial details questionnaire section. It says that they are required to ask several questions regarding your financial situation and investing experience. It's there to make sure the platform is appropriate for you and to meet the FCA rules, so just answer truthfully. This information is given to the broker by the regulator to make sure the right kind of people are investing and stop people who shouldn't be using the service for their own protection. And then once you've done that, it says account setup complete. So then now you just click on next. This next bit is identity verification. So for this, you need to get a valid government issued identity document, make sure you're in a well-lit room, and use your camera to take a selfie and photos of your ID. And now once that's done, the next bit is a W8BEN form. In the US, there is a withholding tax on dividends. If you get a dividend from a US company, the US will automatically take off 30% of the value of the dividend at source. So you won't even see that it's happened. But if you sign this form, it gets reduced from 30% to 15% if you live in a country country with a tax treaty with the USA. Once you've done all that, your account is created and verified. You might get a pop-up about investment pies, but before jumping into that, let's take a quick tour of the Trading 212 app so you know where everything is and what each of the features do. Let's begin at the top and work our way down. At the top left, there's a drop down for your account. Here you can see which account you're in, and for me it's the ISA account. You can also switch between these accounts easily if you have more than one, and it will show a quick breakdown of your investments and available funds. And for the ISA account, it may also show your remaining allowance. On the right, you'll see the bell icon for notifications. This covers investment activity and general alerts, and as you can see, there is nothing here at the moment because I just opened the account. And in the top right, you can see the settings menu, and you can customize which notifications you want to receive. Right now, my account isn't funded yet, so nothing appears here. We'll add funds later in the video after this tour. Now in the bottom left you'll see the home tab. This is your main dashboard where you can see watch lists and market movers. That is my watch list. Some stocks are preset, but you can add your own by clicking on the company and then you can tap the tick. That way you can keep track of the ones that you're interested in. Further along you'll see top winners and top losers, which highlight the best and worst performers of the day. Now let's just pick a stock at random and see what options we have. Now here you can check its past performance, so you can do it by day, by week, by month and by year, and the maximum. Now below that chart is an AI analysis tool which gives extra information about the company, so you can either read it all or listen to it. And then you also get a disclaimer just to keep in mind that this is an AI automated tool and it does not reflect human opinions and should not be considered professional advice. And if you scroll further down you'll see the feed and other stats as well, so things like volatility, market cap, PE ratio and dividend yield. And if you go further you can click on financials and this will give you things like income statements, balance sheets and cash flow if you wanted to do your research and gain a deeper understanding of the company before investing in it. And if that's something that you wanted, you click the blue button at the bottom to buy. But we'll come back to that later once we've explored the rest of the app. To the right of the home button is the pie tab. A pie in Trading 212 is simply a collection of investments split into slices. So each slice represents a stock, ETF or fund, and it's a visual way of showing a portfolio. Here you'll find ready-made pies which are built around themes or strategies. For example, there's a Vanguard Global Fund pie, which shows its breakdown between equities and bonds. Or there's a BlackRock Core pie with its own allocation, and each pie comes with a description so you know exactly what's inside. And so for example, if we click on the BlackRock Core pie, you can see its own allocation within the fund and you can research the different holdings within the pie. And at the top you'll see something called a pie variant. Trading 212 will give you a disclaimer saying that this should not be seen as research or to represent any risk levels, and the variant names are used to differentiate between variants. So for example, you can go for conservative, a moderate, assertive, or aggressive. And then you can see the reflective percentages within the pie. And if we go back, and if we scroll along and if you go to the social tab, there's also community pies which other members of the app have created for you to browse through. Now if none of the ready-made pies suit you, you can also create your own custom pie. That lets you pick the stocks and ETFs you like and decide what percentage of your money goes into each slice. It is a very neat feature, especially if you prefer a hands-off approach with ready-made pies, or if you want complete control by building your own custom one. And I'll show you later in the video how to build your own custom pie. Next is the search tab, which is the magnifying glass icon. This is where you go to find new investments, and at the very top you can search directly for a stock, ETF or fund by name. But if you're looking for something specific, if you scroll down, there's other ways where you can browse by category, so most traded or most owned. There's most bought and most sold. You can scroll further down and there's lots of different industries you can select. So there's big tech, so things like Nvidia, IBM, Cisco. You can go to EU defense. There's also quantum computing, AI stocks. And if you go further down, for example, you can filter by country or by sector. There's a section for more lists, so things like big pharma, airlines, and really it's just a great way to discover companies you might not have thought about investing in. And if you can see at the very bottom, there's a browse all option. This is basically the full directory of everything available on Trading 212. So if we click on ETFs, for example, it's split into equities, fixed income, commodity, specialty, and mixed allocation. And you have the same in stocks. For example, you can go to the London Stock Exchange and look for all the financial companies, for example. The next tab along is a social icon. And At the top, you'll notice three sections. So you have feed, communities, and pies. Now let's look at each one in turn. Starting with the feed, this is where you'll see news updates and posts from other users. Think of it as a community notice board where people share thoughts, market updates, or ideas. For example, there's hot conversations that you can get involved in. And if you want to post something yourself, in the bottom right, you can click that blue button. Next, we have communities. At the top, there's a search bar if you're looking for something specific, or you can simply browse the list and join any that interest you. For example, if you click view all, you'll see the different ones you can join. So news, dividends, there's off topic, memes even. So there's so many here you can search for. Once you join, you'll start receiving updates and can get involved in the discussions. It's just a useful space if you want to exchange ideas with other investors. And finally, there's the pie section. This is where you'll find community pies, investment pies created and shared by other users. Some are very popular, but remember, popularity doesn't guarantee performance. These aren't professionally managed, so it's important for you to do your own research before copying one. You can look at the top performing pies or any that you may have saved to check out later. Now let's look at the menu tab. That's the three bars at the bottom right. This is where a lot of the account management happens. So let's run through the key sections. You'll have manage funds. This is where you deposit or withdraw money. You can also set up recurring payments. And if we click on deposit, you'll be able to see a few options here on how to add your money. You have the instant bank transfer, a normal bank transfer, which takes up to 2 business days, or the Google Pay features. I will show you how to add money later in the video in the adding money section. But as you can see, the recommended one and the free one is the instant bank transfer. So if we go back, you can click on recurring payments. So any recurring deposits will appear here. And right now we can't withdraw because we don't have anything on the platform. So if we go back, we have portfolio transfers. This is where you can transfer investments from another provider. If Trading 212 already offers the same investments, the transfer is relatively straightforward. But if they don't, you may need to sell your holdings with your old broker, transfer the cash, and then reinvest once it's on Trading 212. And always check which investments are supported before starting a transfer. Now, there is also an option on the menu to earn interest on uninvested cash. Currently, Trading 212 pays around 4% on money held in your account. Here's how it works. Some of your cash is held in regular bank accounts, and some are placed into qualifying money market funds, or QMMFs. The portion in bank accounts is protected by the FSCS, up to £85,000, but QMMFs are considered investments, which mean they carry some risk and aren't FSCS protected. The app shows you exactly how your money is split. The risk is low, but it's still something to be aware of. But if you want complete FSCS protection on your cash, you need to use the Cash ISA instead, as that holds funds entirely in bank deposits. Now, before we can make an investment, we need to add money to the account. The good news is you can start with as little as £1, so it's really accessible. So go back to Manage Funds and click on Deposit. When you go to buy an investment, you'll be prompted to fund your account. So we have the instant bank transfer or the bank wire. This is always free no matter how much you deposit. And this is usually the best option to avoid fees. Or there's card, Apple Pay and Google Pay. That's free until you've deposited a total of £2,000 or €2,000. I would suggest sticking to instant bank transfers where possible. So I'll click on instant bank transfer. And then you need to go down and find which bank provider you want to connect. And for me, it's Barclays. Trading 212 uses a secure system called TrueLayer to link directly to your bank. Once you pick your bank, you'll be redirected to your banking app or website to approve the transfer. And then I will click on Connect Bank Account. This is the connecting screen and click Allow. Okay, now that we've done that, the bank account is saved. And then you click Got It. From there, you can either use the slider to choose how much you want to deposit or type in the exact amount using the keypad on the right. You can deposit anywhere from £1 up to £30,000, depending on your bank's limit. But for today, I'll be depositing £100. And with that, the deposit has been successful, and usually this is instant. And if you go back to the home screen, it will show you that you have £100 deposited. On the left, it shows me my investments. Right now, I don't have any, so there is nothing there. And it shows me the cash available and my allowance. Now that we've deposited money into the account, let's walk through how to buy an actual investment. I'll start with the fund, and then later we'll take a look at buying a single company. To begin, head over to the search tab, and at the top, you'll see the search bar where you can type in the name or ticker symbol of the fund. And below that are lists you can filter through, or if you scroll all the way down, you'll find the browse all options. For example, let's look at an ETF or an exchange traded fund. ETFs are index style investments that track the whole market. On the ETF page, the options are broken down into categories like equity, fixed income, and commodities, plus more niche areas further down. And if we click on equity, if we click on benchmark, at the top you'll often see broad market benchmarks like the S&P 500, since these are among the most popular. Now, some fund names can be a little bit confusing, trading. So if you're unsure, you can always Google the ticker symbol to learn more. Once you click on the fund, you'll get an overview screen. And if you scroll down, you'll see the AI analysis and important stats like volatility, expense ratio, and the dividend frequency. And in this case, it's accumulating. It gives you the annualized performance on 1 year, 3 year, and 5 years. And it shows you the fund allocation so that you can see and understand what the makeup of the fund is. The layout is quite helpful because it will show you the different sectors. If you click the three dots in the top right hand corner, you can click on instrument details. From there, you can open the key information document or KID, which is at the very bottom. This is a very important file straight from the provider, which summarizes the risks, fees, and objectives. So be sure to take a read of this. Now let's look at actually buying. So at the bottom, click buy, and you'll be taken to the order screen. And you can either use the slider or switch to the keypad on the right so that you can type it in directly. At the top, you'll notice the different order types. Most long-term investors, myself included, use a market order. That just means buy this investment right now at the next available market price. And if the markets are open, it processes immediately. If it's closed, it will go through when it reopens. There are other order types as well, and these are more suitable for active traders, for example, setting a maximum price you're willing to pay or placing sell points in advance. But for this tutorial, we'll stick to the market order. Next to value, you'll see a small drop-down bar, and this lets you switch from value to number of shares. So you can either specify the exact amount of money you'd like to invest, or you can click on the number of shares and specify the exact number of shares that you want to purchase. But in my case, I'll just be putting in 50. Now, here you'll notice you don't need to buy whole shares, and trading 2 and 2 allows you to buy something called fractional shares. So you can invest exactly the amount that you want, even if the full share price is slightly higher than your budget. So you click on review order, and then you'll be shown this screen. Because this fund is listed in pounds, there are no foreign exchange fees. If you buy a UK listed company, you might also see stamp duty added. Once you're happy, press send buy order. And remember, the execution isn't always instant, it just depends on whether the market is open and the order is placed. And in my case, it will execute after the market is opened in 8 hours. Next, let's look at buying an individual company just to see how that process works. I'll go back to the search tab and choose a well-known stock, and for example, under most traded is Nvidia, so I'll click on that. You can review the important stats, and if we're happy with that, let's click on buy. Now the buying screen looks almost identical to when we bought a fund. In this case, I'm going to do £50. And again, I'll be doing the market order. And if you're happy with that, you can click on review order. You will get a pop-up explaining 24/5 trading available. Right now we are using the regular hours, which executes during the main session only. But if you want, you can trade around the clock by enabling 24/5. Now we can see the send buy order screen. We have the share value, the number of shares, the commission, which is free, and here you'll see the FX rate and the FX fee. If the stock is listed outside your domestic currency, trading 212 charges a 0.15% FX fee inside an invest or stocks and shares ISA account, and the order has been placed. And in my case, the market will open in 14 hours and 18 minutes. Once you place the order, you'll see it appear in your portfolio. The interface shows whether you're in profit or loss straight away. The dotted line marks your buy price, while the live line shows the current market value. And this is just a good reminder of how quickly individual company prices can fluctuate. And if you go back to the main homepage, you'll see the investments, and you can see we're slightly up. And this page shows you the profit or the loss that you may have. And again, you can click on each one to track how it's doing. Okay, now that we've bought a fund, let's go through how to sell it. The process is very similar, just in reverse. Head to your portfolio tab, find the investment you want to sell, and tap on it. And on the investment screen, you'll see the sell. So if you want to sell the full amount or only part of your holdings, we click on review order. If the investment is listed in a foreign currency, remember there will be a 0.15% FX fee applied again, both when buying and when selling. If it's listed in pounds, then no FX fee applies. Now we can click on send sell order and order placed. If the market is open, it usually executes straight away. And again, we can do the same thing with our other stock that we bought. We can click on sell, again review order. Now again, another FX fee will apply. Then you can click send sell order and it's sold. And after that, the cash from your sale will show again in your available funds balance, ready for you to reinvest or withdraw. A pie is a custom investment portfolio that you can either build yourself or copy from someone else. And the idea is that instead of buying one stock or one fund at a time, you can combine multiple investments like stocks, bonds, or ETFs into a single pie. You then decide what percentage of your money goes into each one. So let's walk through how to build one yourself. So let's head over to the pie section, scroll down to investments and click on quick start with a pie and press the plus button. Now these are the model pies we saw before, so Vanguard, BlackRock and Wisdom Tree. But what I'll be doing is showing you how to build your own custom pie. So on the top left, you can see custom and click on custom, and this will allow us to build your pie. So you can pick your favorite stocks and ETFs and they will appear as slices in the pie above. Tap add instruments and search for the companies or funds you want to include. I'll just pick 3 at random, but of course you should choose based on your own research and goals. So I'll click on one company, you can click add to pie and then go back and then add another one, go back. Okay, so I've selected 3, and if you're happy with that, you can press the blue arrow in the bottom right hand corner. Now on the next screen, you'll see the percentage allocation. So you can adjust this depending on what your goals are. And then once you're happy, click next. After that, you'll be asked how you want to fund the pie. You can either set up Autoinvest, which automatically invests money on a regular schedule, or you can add funds manually whenever you want. I'll cover these 2 options in the next section, since understanding how to avoid extra fees with Autoinvest is really important. Starting with Autoinvest, which is Trading 212's automatic contribution tool. When you select Autoinvest, you'll first see a screen with a projection graph. This shows an assumed growth rate, your potential returns, and how your investments might grow over time. You can set your initial deposit and choose which day of the month you'd like to contribute, and even set how many years you plan to invest for. On the next screen, you'll give your pie a name. Then you'll see the overview before confirming, and when you click fund pie, you'll come to the payment method screen. Unlike most normal deposits, the free bank transfer option doesn't appear here. The way around this is to scroll down and select free funds. This means you must preload money into your Trading 212 account, and Autoinvest will automatically pull that balance on the dates you've chosen. That way you avoid the 0.7% fee entirely. Not everyone may want to use Autoinvest, so if you'd rather keep it flexible and only invest when you have spare cash, you can choose the manual option instead. Go back on the screen again and select manual, name the pie. Now the next screen comes up, and because I've selected manual, I need to click on invest and set the slider. Below this, you get some options about how you want your money to be invested going forwards. So you can see here it says fund distribution, and it has a few different options. This is important because over time, as your investments rise and fall in value, the slices of the pie won't stay at the exact same percentages that you originally set. You have the self-balancing. This option keeps your pie aligned with your target percentages that you set earlier. So if one investment has grown larger than the rest, new money will go into the smaller slices to bring everything back into balance. The next one is by target. Here the app simply invests in the exact percentages that you originally set, regardless of how the pie has shifted over time. And the third one is custom. So this gives you full control to set your own allocation for this specific deposit. Now once you've picked your option, you'll be able to move to the next screen and set the slider, set the amount you want to invest, and note that if you're buying companies listed in a foreign currency, you'll see the FX fee apply here. And this is the buy screen, so click confirm. After pressing confirm, a progress bar will appear at the top right. It may take a little time for it to complete, but once it's done, switch to the holdings tab and you'll see your updated allocation. So now if you want to sell, you click on withdraw and you select how much, and in this case I'm doing everything, so I click next and I click confirm. The progress bar at the top shows the selling, and it gives me confirmation that the money has been extracted from the pie and it was added back into your account via funds. And if we go back, you can see the cash is now back, or at least most of it. You can also use pre-built pies created either by Trading 212 or by institutions like BlackRock. Now to get started, go back to the portfolio tab and click on new pie, and this time choose a ready-made pie. You'll see a selection of pies to choose from. So you'll have your core pies, and these are multi-asset portfolios designed to give broad diversification. And when you open one, you can scroll down to see exactly how it's distributed across asset classes and what areas of the market it has exposure to. And again, at the top, you'll notice the pie variant option. This just lets you adjust the composition depending on your risk appetite. For example, if you go to something that's a bit more conservative, you'll probably get more bonds, or you can have a more assertive version with more equities. And once you're happy, you can confirm your choice and move to payment screen, which we've already covered earlier. And there is also the social option. These are just pies created by other Trading 212 users. So then categories, you can see all the new pies and you can see the top ones. Okay, so that wraps up our walkthrough of the Trading 212 app. There are are a few extra features in the app like account type options and virtual cards, but since those aren't exactly core to getting started, I'll cover them in a separate video. For now, you should have everything that you need to navigate around the app, start investing, and understanding the key features. So I hope that helped, and I will see you next time. Bye.